it's happening in New York, New Jersey, or Long Island. Hear about it with Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.
Portions of this show sponsored by Route 22 Honda.
Jersey Joe on the radio, 927. Tough Enough is the name of that song. Here's a man who was tough enough. Commissioner Bernard Kerik, former NYPD Commissioner, author of the new book out today, The Grave Above the Grave. Bernie, welcome back to the show, sir.
What's up, Joe?
Hey, we miss you. You're supposed to come in person, but you did not, and I'm glad because it's your birthday, and we were so cheap we didn't even have a cake for you, Bernard Kerik. But let me say,
listen, you can blame Rosanna Scotto at Fox 5 because they were late. They got me in studio late, so blame her. Don't blame me.
Okay, we love Rosanna. She is the best. She's the best. But you know what, Bernie? Happy birthday, my friend. And you're out there plugging your book. You've got a big event coming up. I'm going. My cousin Paulie's going. My cousin Paulie's kid who just got promoted to detective, who you've been watching over with your son in the Newark Police Department.
Somewhere you can't find him. I know.
I couldn't find Bernie's referring to when I couldn't find my cousin Paulie's kid because I said, doesn't he getting like graduating the academy? And Bernie pinpoints exactly. Wait, he's on patrol already. You dunce. I got this. And I appreciate it, Commissioner. Hey, Bernie, before we discuss your book, next week is the 17th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. You were there front and center. And Bernie, when I was, if I could just go aside for a second here, and you and I had the privilege of being on, it was for the Siller Foundation, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. They did they auctioned off this cruise on this beautiful yacht, and Mayor Giuliani was there. And I'm talking to you, listening and watching. Bernard Kerik was there, and it was great. And Mayor Giuliani took a moment, and he paid homage to his quote-unquote police commissioner right in front of the Statue of Liberty. And as I looked at Mayor Giuliani, and I looked at Commissioner Bernard Kerik, I said, these two guys are the two guys that not only saved New York, you went in and you fought for the world against terror. Now, all these years later, what's the best way to remember what happened on that day, Bernard Kerik?
The best way to remember it, Joe, is the men and women in the NYPD and the fire department and the Port Authority Police that effected the greatest rescue mission in the history of the country.
Yeah.
You know, they fought for New York. They fought for this country. They sent a message to the terrorists that we will not cower, we will not fail, and they were resilient. And unfortunately, we lost a number of them, close to 400 that day. And we've lost hundreds and hundreds since then. And there are like 10,000 first responders right now that, they're sick. They have certain illnesses as a result of September 11th, and that stuff cannot be forgotten.
Yeah, it's just a block away, Bernie. I can't. Isn't it wild when you walk down Lower Manhattan, Bernard Kerik, and then you see how we came back as a city, as a people? How proud does that make you, though?
Yeah, it makes me proud, but it makes me also wonder, Joe, where's that unity today? You know what? The polarization in our political world today in this country is completely out of whack compared to what I saw that day and in the aftermath. And I'm talking both parties. I'm not talking about just the Democrats. I'm talking about both parties. We have to come together as a people, and we have to remember what this country was founded on and the principles it was founded on. And let's go back in time to those principles and those politics, because what's going on today is crazy.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Bernie about his book that comes out today, The Grave Above the Grave. But Bernie, then when they talk about immigration, and I say, look, my grandparents came from another country, but they're letting anybody in. Correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner, didn't ISIS say we are sending warriors in across the borders with the migrants? Is that my imagination, Bernard Kerik?
No, it's not your imagination, and it's not that they haven't done it, and it's not that they're not going to attempt to do it again.
Yeah.
You know what? Look, here's what I strongly believe, Joe. I strongly believe that the Democratic Party is losing a lot of the black vote, and they're trying to make up for it by letting anyone come into this country and then giving them voting rights. Come into the country legally. Come into the country the way your ancestors did and mine. If you do that, you belong here. If you don't do that, you're committing a federal crime, and you should get shipped out or locked up.
Yeah.
Period.
Amen.
That's
Amen. Commissioner Bernie Kerik with Piscopo in the Morning. A brand new book. Tell us about the book, Bernie. This is your first work of fiction. What inspired you to write this, brother?
Listen, I was telling, I said this to Rosanna this morning.
Yeah.
Writing fiction is not easy.
Yeah.
You're making stuff up as you go along. You're thinking of things that could happen. In my case, this is a fiction police commissioner, New York City police commissioner, who back on 9/11 was a captain in charge of the 1st Precinct down around the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
His wife was actually killed on one of the flights, so he has this hatred for the people that did this. And then all of a sudden he responds to a cop shooting where one of his guys are shot and killed and another wounded. And from that point forward, he's on a mission to get the people that did this, and it leads him into other states and other countries.
Wow. Rick Raymond is the name of the character. Inspired by a real-life figure, Bernie Kerik?
Listen, it's inspired by a bunch of stuff, but the bottom line is, Rick Raymond is a badass, if you will, and he calls it what it is.
Yeah, it's so funny. Now, one of the aspects of your book deals with the relationship between Raymond and an attractive prosecutor. I mean, how common are those relationships, Bernie?
No, that one, no, they're not common at all because they'd get annihilated. But the bottom line is it made for an interesting story. And, when I won't get into the whole book, but when she actually gets killed, and I had my publisher call me, and she said, "You are a sick individual." I read this chapter, and you're a sick dude.
Yeah. I'm very impressed. You wrote a fictional book, The Grave Above the Grave, Bernie's new book. Hey, Bernie, crime statistics in New York City seem to be continuing to head in the right direction. Commissioner O'Neill doing a great job, huh?
He's doing a good job. Listen, the men and women in the NYPD, Joe, there's no better police department in the country. And from 1994 on, they have perfected the crime reduction strategies that started under Giuliani, carried through Bloomberg. O'Neill's carrying on those programs. I just wish that the New York City Department of Correction would have carried on the same programs that we had that kept violence down in the New York City jail systems, and the city would have been a lot better off. When
you ran Rikers Island, Bernie Kerik, it must incense you when you see what's going on there.
Yeah, it's annoying, but more importantly, Joe, forget about annoying. It's dangerous. Correction officers have put their lives on the line every single day, and they're unappreciated as it is. They're getting stabbed and cut and pummeled, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, so Bernie Kerik, the new book is The Grave Above the Grave. What's the best way for people to get your book, Bernie?
Amazon.com, any bookstore, and just a heads up, Joe, I'll be in Livingston tomorrow night at the Barnes & Noble, Livingston, New Jersey, and I'll be at Northville, New Jersey at Books and Greetings on Friday.
Look at you, man, doing the book signings. Commissioner, listen, thanks for all you've done for the city and for the country, Bernie. We love you, man, and happy birthday, my friend.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for your support.
All right, Commissioner. Take care. Commissioner Bernie Kerik right there, former NYPD Commissioner, author of this new book out today, The Grave Above the Grave. Bernie Kerik's new book. Go to Amazon. Check it out, please.
Everybody knows this guy. Now, everybody knows he can do a radio show. Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.